Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard.
I'm Liz, and this is Lap of the World.
This is Lap of the World. We are down at Road Atlanta. We are actually not driving Road Atlanta this time, in a shocking turn of events, actually, but I've driven it several times. This is Liz's first time here, though, so this should be interesting. We were here for Petit Le Mans with we are guests of Acura. We're in their car corral, and what are we about to? We're about to do something right now.
Go to dinner.
Go to dinner. Oh yes. Well, she's already hungry, but
we're about after the parade lap.
We're gonna do some parade laps. This will be my I don't know how many times going around Road Atlanta, but this is actually Liz's first time going around Road Atlanta. So I'll be curious what she ends up thinking about the some of the turns, turn 12 in particular, probably because that's the one everybody talks about when you go to Road Atlanta, because it's you're like driving off the end of the world, and then it doesn't look like that on TV, but until you actually do it, so this should be entertaining though. But we've got some GoPros running. If it's not too dark and it comes out, then we'll share that with you here in a second. And then we are after that we're going to be headed to dinner, and then tomorrow we're back for some more shenanigans. So yeah, should be a fun weekend.
Lots of weekend shenanigans.
Yeah, it should be a fun weekend. We're just kind of running and gunning vlog style this time, so don't expect a big history lesson or anything like that. This is just fun this weekend. So yeah, we'll pick you guys up here for the lap here when it starts in a moment. As we head out onto the circuit, let me hit a few stats for those who inexplicably haven't heard of Road Atlanta or driven it on a sim. At 2.5 miles, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta officially isn't particularly long, but it is an intense lap. The total elevation delta of 125 feet belies the fact that you go up and down nearly that entire amount 3 different times over the course of a lap, and 80 feet of it all at once as you crest turn 11. Should you get it wrong in one of the 12 turns, don't expect any quarter from this circuit, as the only real runoff is at turn 10. Anywhere else, and you're only a short skip across some grass before you'll find a wall somewhere. With respect to the event we are here to watch, this is the 23rd edition of Petit Le Mans. Road Atlanta has been in operation since 1970, hosting numerous series. In 1996, though, it was reconfigured to bring it up to FIA standards, and the green flag dropped on the inaugural Petit Le Mans in 1998. Initially, it was an either-or race of 1,000 miles or 10 hours, but since 2014, the distance portion was dropped, so it's now strictly a race against the clock and 40-something other cars. My personal best time here is just a hair under 1 minute 40 seconds. Just remember that for later when you see some of the times the DPI prototypes are clocking. Road Atlanta is my second most frequented track right behind Carolina Motorsports Park, so I'm pretty familiar with it, but driving it after sundown was definitely a new experience and a fun taste of what the pro drivers will be in for in the second half of Saturday's race. It's definitely a different feel when you're following your own headlights from apex to apex versus having a clear view of everything. As for what Liz thought about the track,
Road Atlanta was actually a lot of fun. I feel like the track has a little bit for everything. It's got some long straights, it's got some corners, S's, roller coastery hills as well. So it's got a little bit of everything. So I mean, I would definitely think that it maybe shouldn't be your first track day, but if you're looking to take it to the next level, it feels like a good place. But it definitely feels like it would be a lot for a beginner to take in.
With respect to the surrounding facility, a lot has happened since my last visit here in 2014. IMSA, which has owned the track since 2012, and current title sponsor Michelin, have definitely done some upgrades, including a new timing tower and new paved areas in the infield, and a jumbo screen for spectators at turn 10. The existing infrastructure also got some updates as well.
Wear comfortable shoes, because it's a big track. There's just a lot of grounds to cover. We walked from one end to the other, and we didn't even walk everywhere. But it took a long time to get from turn 10 to turn 7. Uphill both ways, mind you. I think overall, I mean, it's a huge paddock. It's huge grounds. I mean, maybe it's just because I was there for an event. But regardless, even if you removed all the trailers from IMSA, it's still a huge paddock. Which is much bigger than most of the tracks I've been to, aside from, say, Daytona.
With enough of a tailwind, I would normally be touching 140 coming to the braking zone here for turn 10. We might have been doing a little more than half that on our reasonably enthusiastic parade laps, but as I said, it was fun to get to experience the track under the lights and with a few more people watching than at your typical track day. Following the parade laps, we departed directly to dinner and were happy to give a solid recommendation for Local Republic in Lawrenceville. It's about 30 minutes from the track, give or take with traffic, close to where we stayed, and the food and service were both top-notch.
All right, so we are back for day 2 of Petit Le Mans.
As you can probably hear in the distant background, there is a race on one of the support races ongoing. This is the Friday, so this is going to be, again, some of the support races. I think maybe the Continental Challenge, the kind of the main support race for the Petit Le Mans, and as well as practice and a few other sessions today. And then the 12 or the 10 hours, I think. Should look this up before we started recording, but the actual Petit Le Mans race is going to be tomorrow from like noon to 10 or something like that. So
that is, I did look at the schedule, and that's roughly correct.
Roughly correct. Okay, that's what we strive for here, is roughly correct. But so in the meantime, though, we went over here with our new friend Scott and watched one of the I'm going to say spec Miata. That's probably not the technical term for the actual series. Maybe it's the MX-5 Cup. Watched a bunch of Miatas race each other. That was a lot of fun. And then kind of took a stroll through the fan zone, which you'll probably see a montage of here in a second. And we've wandered back over to our Acura corral.
So duck down so you can see over me.
Just in time for lunch, and you can see we've got a little bit. We're pretty well represented here with NSXs. We haven't done an official an official head count, but we've got more pulling in.
We've got one coming in right here.
More pulling in. But yeah, we'll get you an official count of new and old NSXs, as well as a few other SXs here. I think I saw there was a TSX and an RSX in here as well, with a few other Acuras. But yeah, having a good time so far. I think all the rain that's going to have happened last night.
Yeah, I think we got a good bit of rain last night, but yeah, it's supposed to be sunny for the rest of the weekend. So I think up next is lunch and then some race team meetups.
Yep.
And then garage tours.
So we'll pick you up for those.
But then when we went to Spa in Belgium, we could not get out of the pits because the pit exit was too tight. And it's just like we would go to the wall. Like, so then just for that race alone, because it was just study for that one, they opened the wheel arch and then we could have compensated a little bit more. You lose a little bit of downforce, and then for Le Mans we came back again to close it down again. So this is dependent on the space that we have there.
Inside row 2, Ryan Harmonic, number 61, motorsports 4718.
Race. It's a 2.5 mile track. We go around it in about a minute and 10 seconds, and there's 43 cars on the track, which means extremely close race with lots of problems, passing people running into each other. But to go take that further, IMSA racing is multi-class racing. The top class is this, Daytona Prototype International. Then you have 2 different GT classes underneath that are considerably slower. But that's just sports car racing in the world. So if someone wins overall, and then someone wins that, there's 2 other people that win their class. This car will lap those cars, meaning go around the long way probably 12 times by the end of the race, something like that. These cars are extremely fast. This track we do about 180 going into the down the back straight. Daytona we do 200. It just depends on you get up and down paddles for shifting. There's no eject. But there's a lot going on here, including messages that come across the screen. Everything that the car's doing is fed back to us in real-time data. So we collect it and we see it in real time. The engineers dissect it, decide what they need to change.
All right, so we are back and a lot has happened.
Yeah, since we last talked to you, we got to meet and talk to and actually ask some pretty cool questions of all of the drivers from both Wayne Taylor Racing and Meyer Shank Racing, which included some notable names if you watch racing, like Ricky Taylor, Felipe Albuquerque, and Alexander Rossi from Meyer Shank, and then Dane Cameron and
Not from Meyer Shank.
no, I'm sorry, that was Wayne Taylor Racing,
Taylor, yeah.
and then from Meyer Shank Racing, we had Dane Cameron and Elio Castroneves, who you've probably heard of from one way or another. But that was really kind of neat
We're trying to record here, guys.
Sorry, it's GTLM qualifying going on back here. Sorry. But no, it was really cool to hear from them and get their kind of perspectives on, driving Road Atlanta in this crazy race, as well as other kind of strategy questions and the differences between driving in the U.S. versus driving in Europe, or racing in the U.S. versus racing in Europe, which things I didn't think of.
Some more personal things like what their favorite tracks are and what they like about it.
Which was interesting. And incidentally, Road Atlanta actually got pretty high marks on both of them. I think another U.S. track, Watkins Glen, came up in the discussion. Then you also had Le Mans and Spa, and obviously for the notable individual there, Indy. So.
Yeah. So after that, we actually got to go tour their garages, which was really neat. And in fact, for Meyer Shank, we actually got the tour from Michael Shank himself.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome to kind of hear it from the boss as far as what they,
we had a lot of really
get the look behind the scenes, hear some kind of interesting stories, and hear about their kind of how their weekend's going to go.
So up next, we're going to watch qualifying and then head to dinner with the group.
Yeah, sounds like fun. We'll go try to yell at the camera here and go watch some racing or qualifying anyways. Well, good morning, everybody. We're back. We watched some exciting qualifying yesterday evening. Our Acura boys ended up 5th and 7th, so they got a little bit of work to do today, which is race day.
Yep. It's a little colder today, but we've been here. We've had coffee, some breakfast sandwiches, courtesy of Acura.
Thank you.
And now we are about to go on a grid walk.
Yep. So we're going to head out here and walk through the cars after they've lined up and gotten staged for the race, and then we'll go somewhere else to actually watch some racing. So look forward to that. All right, well, since we left you on the grid, there has been an exciting start to the race, and then
Too much excitement for some people.
too much excitement for some people after that. Quite a few yellows. That's racing at Road Atlanta for you. But in the meantime, we've been moving around to some different vantage points that I hope you've enjoyed. It's nice to know some people. Thanks to Mark and Maria Hicks in particular, letting us sneak into the Chin Motorsports area and get on their platform for a little bit. And but right now, it's getting dark. The sun is going down. The racing is getting exciting, and
I mean, really, at this point, we're going to go watch some racing, bundle up, gloves
Yeah.
are on already, and see what happens.
yeah, it's looking to be a chilly one. It should be getting down into the 30s actually later on this evening, which means, with the tire temperature stuff going on, the racing should be really exciting. We'll see how it pans out. Absolutely no announcer's curse. We're not going to say anything about the race at this point because it's not over yet. But we're going to go enjoy the rest of it. This is the last time we're going to have a light to talk to you guys, but maybe we'll see what we can do with some nighttime footage. If it turns out, enjoy that, and we'll pick you guys up after the race. Well, good morning, everyone. That was a heck of a race. Hopefully you've watched it by now, or at least watched the highlight reel by the time I publish this video. If not, spoilers. It comes down to a desperate last-hour chase with Ricky Taylor in one of the Wayne Taylor Acura, desperately trying to chase down the leading Cadillac. Or it was actually the second-place Cadillac. Well, It was leading and then second place here and there, but the thing that had to happen for the overall team championship was that the number 10 Acura had to beat the number 31 Cadillac. It almost happened.
Like on the last lap, it almost happened.
Yeah, into 10A, Ricky licked the stamp and sent it down the inside. Unfortunately, must have had a lockup or had something happen, so it ended up being more of a dive bomb than a late break, and got the place swapped again before they crossed the finish line. So they lost out on that piece. However, Acura did walk away with some hardware. They won the Endurance Cup for the season. As well as they were still on the podium in the race, which is braggable for a 10-hour endurance race at Road Atlanta, and both Acuras finished.
Yep. Congratulations to Acura, and we're excited.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Thanks to Acura in particular, as well as the two teams, Wayne Taylor Racing and Meyer Shank Racing, for the hospitality. That was an amazing experience, amazing weekend. Great to meet everybody. I'm not going to try and name everybody's name, goodness gracious, but I will say Edgar in particular, thanks a lot. Flop Shot Golf, if you follow him, he's responsible for some of the third-person video that you've seen going through here.
Yeah, no,
so.
he was fantastic. We should just take him everywhere.
Right. You're hired. Now,
no, it was a ton of fun. I think, we are obviously somewhat sad it's over, but also, ready to get home where it's a tiny bit warmer.
Yeah, it's definitely chilly. I think we're not quite shivering. I mean, it's Atlanta, so
speak for yourself.
Cold is relative, but it's still in the 40s right now, and I think it got down to it may have gotten.
Well, it was 38 when we left the track.
38 when we left the track. It got colder than that.
Yeah. which we did not quite stay until 10, but we stayed until 9.
Yeah, we were there till almost the end. We went back to the hotel and watched the last, like, that last intense hour on the actual coverage there, which is kind of probably the best way to watch it. It's hard to see all the action when you're there. Even they do have jumbotrons and stuff like that, but also need to beat the traffic out of the track and stuff like that.
We also got to watch that breakaway by Ricky Taylor, like first person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had like multiple streams up with his in-car going, full send on the inside there. But no, that's a lot of fun. But for now, we're gonna get back to Knoxville and start planning our next adventure.
Yep. So until that point, I'm Liz.
I'm Richard. This is Lap of the World, and we will see you all in the next video, if not at the track.